Hi Mama, welcome to Becca Holmes Yoga. I'm so glad that you're here with me on the mat today. Today's class is Yoga for Fertility. Now we are going to be starting in Shavasana. If you'd like to go ahead and get there while I tell you a little bit about the class, you can just lie down on your back and rest completely. So Yoga for Fertility is really going to focus more on the spiritual and energetic aspects, as fertility is, of course, a vastly complex medical science, so there's only so much that we can do in this space. But I don't want to dismiss the power of really focusing in on spirit and really connecting with your energetics as you prepare your body and your spirit for pregnancy. So with that being said, let's begin in Shavasana. And I do recommend a bolster and 2 blocks for this class. This is going to be yin style, so we'll be holding each posture for 3 to 5 minutes. And also, of course, feel free to have your tea nearby. I've got my tea. And then in your Shavasana, if you want to, you can have a bolster under your knees just to elevate. Whatever's most comfortable, you can just lie flat on the mat as well. And lowering back gently. And once you've arrived in your Shavasana corpse pose, completely relax the feet so that they likely flop to either side. And then typically we rest the hands to the side, palms facing up, open and ready to receive. You may also choose for this Shavasana to place your hands over your womb space. So whichever feels like it's serving you today, go ahead and find your hands there. And begin to notice your breath. Observe the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. Observe the depth of each breath. Are they short or long? Trying not to manipulate the breath, but just observing what is naturally occurring. And then for this practice, let your breath be natural. We're not going to do any hard breathing or any specific counting or pranayama, but just let the breath be natural. So in Yin Yoga, there are 3 tenets. We're going to get into the joints and the myofascial tissue with each of these holds. And then we're going to hold the posture for, like I mentioned, 3 to 5 minutes. And then the third point is we're going to try and find stillness in that posture, which allows the energy to flow through our energetic points throughout the body. So we have our chakra system that runs up the spine. And then we've also got meridians all throughout the body. And this is from the practice of Yin Yoga. So from the teachings of Yin Yoga, we've got different meridians. So these postures that we're going to be doing are focused on meridians around the sacral chakra region and around the reproductive system. And as you rest here in Shavasana, you can begin to imagine each breath sending life down into your womb space. And as we lie in stillness, and this is another challenge of Yin Yoga, Begin to notice your thoughts. What is your mind doing? Notice if it's racing off about things you have to do today. Maybe you're thinking about getting pregnant, right? Maybe you're on that journey right now and that's why you've joined me here. Maybe you are focusing energy and love into the sacral chakra region. Whatever's going on in your mind, let's just try not to judge it. Just allow the thoughts to come through, accept them, and let them pass. We'll be here for about another 2 minutes. Let's begin to slowly move. You can bring your soles of the feet down so that your knees are up. And if you did put the bolster under your knees, you can move that aside. And we're moving into butterfly next. So if you know where we're going, you can go ahead and take whatever path is comfortable for you to get there. I'm going to roll over to my side into a fetal position and just take my time getting up. And maybe take that transition time to take a quick sip of your tea. And then finding butterfly, Baddha Konasana. The soles of our feet come together, knees open wide. And then for yin, I like to use blocks to support, so that way you don't have anything hanging. We don't want the body to work here. We want to just settle in and kind of let gravity do the work. And then play with your feet. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can pull your feet closer into your root chakra area, or you can push them further out, making a diamond shape for a little bit less of a stretch. So with Yin Yoga, you want to find about 70% of your capacity to stretch. And different teachers will teach different ways. That's just what I prefer. So if 50% feels good to you today, by all means. But probably not any more than about 70% of your full capacity to stretch. And so then once you've used your blocks, and you can also use books, pillows, whatever you have, we're going to settle in, folding forward into this into this butterfly pose. And then if you have another block, you can also support the forehead here, or you can just let the head sink towards the feet, letting gravity do that work. And then once again, try to settle in here and find stillness. Let your breath be easy. And then begin to focus on your root chakra and your sacral chakra areas, just at the base of your being, the part that's touching your mat, and your womb space. Noticing if any thoughts are coming up around safety and security in your body, which safety and security is concerned with our root chakra. And then our sacral chakra is our creation center. And of course, that's where we create life in the womb. So just send loving energy there, sending your breath there, sending your thoughts there. Holding this posture for 3 minutes. And let's slowly roll up, starting at the base of the spine, taking your time, allowing the head to rise last and slowly. And let's remove our blocks, keeping them handy though. We're moving into wide leg forward fold. So with this one, find what feels comfortable as far as the width of your legs. The closer together, the less of a stretch. The wider, the more of a stretch. But again, focusing on about a 50 to 70% of your full capacity to stretch for this Yin Yoga. And then if you find yourself kind of not so flexible today and you're leaning backwards on your sit bones, you might want to lift your hips a little bit on a cushion or pillow. You can also fold up a blanket so that it shifts you forward. So let's find a fold. Now you can play with your blocks here, either resting your forearms on your blocks and letting your head completely rest down. You can also play with your blocks and let your forehead rest on your block. So whatever feels best and good for you. And you might take the class today and do one thing and tomorrow switch it up. So it's your practice. I'm just here to give options. But once you find something that feels pretty comfortable, relax the feet. Toes aren't pointed, nor are they flexed back. They're somewhere kind of in between. And then completely relax the head down. Any rustling you hear is my dog Artemis. He's joining us today. He's behind the camera though, so you can't see him, but he might join us at the end. He usually does. So find your stillness, find that ease of breath. And then here in this posture, connecting to our root chakra, the space between the anus and our reproductive area. So that space that's touching the mat. And then connecting with our sacral chakra, which is the hips, our reproductive region, our womb. These two chakras are the base of our being and really set us up for success on an energetic and spiritual journey for pregnancy. So sending love and energy into those two spaces and balance. And let's slowly rise out of this posture, same as the last, beginning at the base of the spine. Rolling up, head and neck come up last. Setting your blocks off to the side. And then coming into an easy seat. Sort of a rebound posture, and just kind of let the hips rest and settle. Close your eyes here, take a breath or two, take a sip of tea. And then after you've taken a few breaths, just to kind of reset here in the middle of practice, meet me in a tabletop. So knees are directly under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and we're moving into a low lunge. So you can take the right foot in between the hands, and we are going to be here again for the 3 minutes. So we're going to do a really supported low lunge. And again, not at your full capacity. So really, I can bend decently far, but today I'm gonna bring it back to right about here. Right when you can feel it is about when I stop. So feel a little bit of a stretch, I'm gonna stop there. So as you can see, I'm using blocks on their highest level. Some days I can go all the way down to the mat, but I don't want to stretch it, and I want to make sure the knee is supported, so I've got my mat down. You could even tuck your toes if that feels good too. And then we're lifting the gaze forward to add some length here, creating again space and bringing energy into the sacral chakra region. So once you've found your posture that you can hold for 3 minutes, settle in. Now yin is, it's simple, but not easy, right? Like pregnancy. Pregnancy. And begin to notice this is potentially a little more intense. We're building up here. If you're feeling any more energy flowing through this area, potentially some emotions are popping up. We do tend to carry a lot of emotions in the hips. And I would just invite you to allow whatever comes up. You know, you might be on a pregnancy journey. You might be in your first trimester already. Just allow whatever emotions are coming up to flow through you. I've definitely cried on my yoga mat, so no judging. If you feel free to let it out here, I'm here to hold that space for you. And find that stillness, breathing into the front of the left hip. And we're about halfway there, another minute and a half. And let's slowly come out. Just shift the hips straight back so that you're resting on the shin of the left foot. And then that back leg is about 90 degrees. And then you can bring the right foot back to meet it. And then sit straight back on the heels. And then pause here for a little bit of a reset, a couple of breaths. And then taking this time to observe anything that came up, any emotions, any kind of energetic feelings. I felt some tingling going on in my hips, so that felt good to kind of let that flow. Energy is getting into my tendons, my ligaments, flowing through the muscles. And meet me back in tabletop for the other side. So then the left foot comes in between the hands. Shifting forward, and again, finding just about 50 to 70%. In these deeper hip stretches, I tend to go closer to 50, but I've got a decently tight psoas right now. And again, it might be different. Today you might go 50, tomorrow you might go 70. Find what feels good right now. Feel what feels good, that too. All right, let's settle in. We'll count that for the first 30 seconds or so. I know I can get chatty. And let's settle in for the rest of this 3 minutes. And now ease back, shifting onto the right shin. Again, left foot meets the right. And then walking ourselves back, sitting on the heels for a quick reset. Relax the hips, relax the psoas. Take a few breaths here. Moving into pigeon pose. So there's a lot of different ways you can take pigeon pose. For me, I'm going to test how my hips feel. So we're going to bring the right knee up behind the right wrist. And then you'll be at about a 45-degree angle with your shin. And if this feels good here, you can rest down. This is quite a bit of a stretch for me today, so I am actually going to put my pillow here under my bum to support the space in between the mat and my hips. So I'm still gonna feel that stretch, absolutely, but just with a little bit more support. You can also sit on a block, or you can come straight down to the mat and then use your blocks here for your forearms like I'm going to do. So a nice, easy pigeon pose. Settle in and really feel yourself being fully supported by the earth here, fully supported by your mat. Letting your body sink into the safety of this space that you create here on your mat. So your yoga mat's a great place to come back, focusing on, again, the root chakra, finding a safe and secure place in your body as you prepare it for pregnancy. The space here it's sacred. It's yours, right? Yoga meaning union. It's between you and yourself, or you and your higher power of sorts, if you have a religion or spiritual practice that you adhere to. And this is a great place to come back to that as well. So holding this posture for 3 minutes. And again, anytime you need to adapt, feel free, and then try again to find your stillness. And bring your head up slowly first, blinking your eyes open if you had them closed. Using our hands to walk ourselves up. We're going to take a lot of time to get out of this posture. I like to bend my toes for my back foot and kind of walk it forward. And then come back out. Find a tabletop. It might feel good to do a little down dog stretch. It also might feel good to just stay in your tabletop. You could take a cat-cow. Or you could rest back. Bum on the heels. So whichever one feels good for you, but find a posture where you can find stillness and kind of take that in. Pigeon can be quite intense, and so see if anything came up there. And now the other side. Try to do something similar on this side, just to stay balanced. So if you use the pillow, go ahead and use your pillow again, bringing the left knee up right behind the left wrist, shins about 45-degree angle. You might try blocks. I started with blocks and then realized that was a little too high for me, so I ended up going down. Find stillness, find your breath. And again, sending love and energy into the creation center. Sending love into your womb. Letting it know that you are the protector and that you are holding space for creation of life. Slowly lift your gaze. Palms to the mat, walking yourself up. Maybe the back toes tuck. Bringing the back knee in a little. And then somehow finding your tabletop. And again, whatever feels good here for you to kind of neutralize that pose. Potentially a downward facing dog, lifting the hips. Maybe remaining in tabletop or sitting the heels back. And now our final posture before we'll end in Shavasana the way we began. But Sukhasana, we're doing a 5-minute meditation. So I'm going to bring my pillow back in. And another sip of tea. And for this meditation, I encourage you to just sit with anything that came up during this practice. And if nothing came up, then this is just further opportunity for you to sit in stillness, 5 minutes for yourself, to just let your thoughts run through you, right? Your thoughts and emotions. Excuse me, my nose itches. Woo. This is a place for you to, again, you're holding space for yourself whenever you sit on your yoga mat, and just allow this connection with self or with higher power, like I mentioned before. So this is your 5 minutes. So I'm going to time it and we'll come out of it together again, but just find a comfortable seat. Crown lifted high up to the sky or ceiling. Find your natural breath again. And then focus on what came up in this practice for you, or allowing thoughts and emotions to come through and simply observing what comes through and really giving space. Our minds are constantly going all day long, but rarely do we just sit in contemplation and allow them to just to spin. Bring yourself back into this space. Take a deep breath. Release with a sigh. And then slowly blink the eyes open. And now let's complete the class with a Shavasana. So you can find the same Shavasana that you started with, or a different one. Might feel different now after practicing. And then Shavasana is a place, I like to think of it as, it means corpse pose. So I like to think of it as we rest as if a corpse would, but then we are coming back to life and that as we finish. So completely relaxing our body, resetting the nervous system, letting the mind rest. This is a place where we let the practice completely settle in, and then when we come out of Shavasana, we are full of energy to move on with our day. So I invite you to contemplate again anything that came up, feelings, emotions, spiritual, energetic, physical, anything that came up in practice today in regards to fertility, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, your personal journey with pregnancy, and just let that settle in acceptance. And then I'll close the class out together in about 5 minutes. Bring your awareness and your mind and body back into this moment. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Begin wiggling your fingers and your toes, slowly working your way up. Your limbs, wrists and ankles next. Bending the knees and pulling them into the chest. Holding steady or rocking side to side if that feels good. And then shifting your pillow, rolling over to one side. And then when you feel ready, pushing yourself up. And then joining me again in a seat. Taking a few centering breaths here as we round out the practice. And then blinking the eyes open. Hands come to heart center, or you can rest them on your womb space. Closing the practice with an Om. Deep breath in to prepare. Blessings to you on this pregnancy journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and then hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when my weekly classes pop up. And I'll see you next time. Bye, Mama.